Hey, everybody. It is Tuesday, I think September 8th. Hope you had a good weekend. I'm just going to chat at you from the corner here for a second before we go into display mode and go through some notes with you. I thought we'd do some totally useless trivia, even for you guys that maybe couldn't make it to class today. I'll ask a question, give a couple second pause, and let you think about it and see if you got it right. I'm going to ask you 5 of them. Okay, so which government official also serves as the president of the U.S. Senate? The answer is the vice president. Second question. Which U.S. state is made up of 2 large peninsulas? Michigan. Which 2 world superpowers were involved in the Cold War? The United States and the Soviet Union. 2 more. Approximately what percentage of the Earth is covered by water to the nearest 10? 70%. And last but not least, what continent is the largest by both population and area? Asia. All right, so a little bit of totally useless trivia. A couple quick announcements. First of all, if you didn't hand your assignment that was due last Friday, make sure you go into classroom and get that taken care of. That was called Reconstruction Intro. So make sure you get that taken care of. Second thing, if anything is wrong with your computer, your mouse is lagging, your microphone isn't working, your camera isn't working correctly, please make sure to email Shane Millen, and he will contact you about how to get that taken care of. And last but not least, it is only a 4-day week. Make sure you take advantage of the time and are getting everything done that you should be. Okay, I'm going to pop into presentation mode. We've got to go through like the intro slide for the day, but then also the one slide of new stuff. And then I'll show you guys the assignment that you've got to work on for the week. Okay, all right, go into present mode here. All right. So goals for today. First of all, we're just going to do a really quick review, which is going to be mostly me talking at you guys instead of you guys answering questions. We're going to discuss the 3 major questions that needed to be answered during Reconstruction, why they were so important. And then you'll have, obviously, a new assignment that's going to be due on Friday by midnight. You really get the work time whenever you need it. All right, so the quick review, just a couple things that will help us out today. The other day, we talked about the Civil War, and we talked about the fact that it was a 4-year-long war, and there was a lot of destruction, and that the North and the South, didn't just happily hug it out at the end and come back together, that there were a lot of problems. A couple quick review things from your homework assignment if you did it. The 13th Amendment officially freed the slaves. The 14th Amendment officially offered citizenship to all men except for Native Americans, regardless of race. And the 15th Amendment gave all men, except Native Americans again, the right to vote. Okay. Now, that being the quick review, there was a lot of other stuff that we quickly talked about last week, but those are kind of some of the big ideas that are going to help us out today. Okay. So moving on, Reconstruction. First, the pictures. The bottom picture shows a former slave getting the chance to vote. I know it looks like a weird way to vote, but that's how they did things back then. And then the top picture is the United States' largest terrorist group, the Ku Klux Klan or the KKK. In my opinion, one of the dumbest groups of people on the planet. If you're wondering, those are kids, I think, right there in the front, those 2 people. And the one guy that's not wearing white, the reason he's not wearing white is he's like important, and important people in the Klan wear different colors, not just white. Obviously, that must be taken from some kind of KKK rally, and it's not during Reconstruction, I can tell, because there's a bus in the background behind him. So we're probably looking at more like a 1940s or 50s KKK rally based on the bus in the back. Still, they started during this time period. Awful, terrible, terrible group of people. All right, so Reconstruction lasts from 1865 to 1877. And one of the things that sticks out to me right away is the war lasted 4 years and the rebuilding takes 12. And that should be in my opinion, maybe the opposite, because if you think about it, it doesn't take that long to rebuild a building. You can do it relatively quick. But the reason that things take so long isn't just buildings and fields and train tracks and things that need to be fixed. It's a lot more than that. It's the relationship between the North and the South, and it's the framework for how the country is going to move forward in trying to fix some of the problems that were created before and during the Civil War. There's a lot of historians out there, I guess me included in a way, that think that 1877 probably isn't an accurate ending, that we're still trying to work out some of the problems that were created during this time period. So maybe Reconstruction is still going on. Reconstruction is considered to be a brief time of peace, in quotes, for a reason, and rebuilding. Obviously, the rebuilding, like I said, the physical rebuilding of the destroyed properties during the time, and also the relationship. And the reason I put peace in quotation marks, there's no war during this time period, but that's not saying that there isn't a lot of violence. Violence in the South is extremely high, especially towards the former slaves. Black people in the South were not treated well and were not safe. And because of that, there were a lot of racially motivated, violent acts that happened, some of those led by those guys on the right, the KKK. Now, there were three major issues that needed to be solved during Reconstruction, and all three of these are all really, really important. Some of them have had a longer lasting impact on our country, though, than others. The first is who should be in control. Who is going to decide how this all happens? And you would think the easy answer would be the Northern government, but the problem is it isn't that simple. The president wanted to be in control. Congress wanted to be in control. Southerners wanted to have a say. These group of people called radical Republicans who ran Senate wanted to have a say. And the reason why this is such a big deal is whoever is in control gets to decide what direction things take. Imagine for a second that I made you principal for a day and you got to decide on one rule that you could get rid of in the school rule book and one rule that you would add. That would give you a lot of power because you could determine the direction that something is taking. And so whatever person gets to be in control of Reconstruction gets to decide what happens next. The second question, what do you do with the Southern states? You've just spent 4 years fighting a war against these places. Now, the big question is what now? Do you just say, hey, that was awful, let's forget about it, let's put your stars back on the flag, let's make you states again, and be really, the word is lenient? Because if you're lenient, they might think that they can just get away with doing something like that again. Think about it. If you did something at home that was, I don't know, a pretty big rule break, and your family looked at you and said, don't worry about it, just don't do it again, you're going to feel like you're not going to get punished for doing things like that. The other option with the Southern states is you really punish them. You really take it out on them. You really make them pay for what they did. The problem with that is really simple too, in that sometimes if the punishment's too severe, that makes the relationship even worse. Imagine for a second that you're doing the dishes at home and you drop a glass and it breaks. And the punishment that you get is 6 months without your phone and they shut off the Wi-Fi for you. That probably seems pretty extreme, and I'm thinking you're going to be mad, and you're probably going to stay mad about your punishment for quite a while. So how does the person who gets control, or the group that gets control, deal with the South without making things worse? And finally, the third question, and maybe the most important, is what rights should freedmen be given? Freedmen are the former slaves. And there's about 4 million of those people in the South, and slavery ending is great. Slavery is one of the worst things in the history of the world. Don't get me wrong, but slavery ending presents a unique set of problems. Yesterday, you were a slave in the fields. Your quality of life was low, but you're freed, and now you don't have any place to live. You don't have food. You don't have an education. You don't have any money. And even though the slave owner was terrible to you, you were his property, so he was going to protect you at least a little bit. Now you have no protection. It's like, it would be like if I took you to a strange country where you didn't speak the language, didn't have any of the money, didn't know anybody, and I just dumped you off and said, hey, good luck. And everybody hated you because you looked different and couldn't function in society. So what is the government going to do for those people to give them a chance to be successful? And the hard part is, some really big ideas get ignored. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I get a really big task to do, it's hard to stay focused. And when you lose focus, things don't get done as well as they should. Or worse, you just go, I'm never going to get this done. It's not working. I give up. And in a way, I feel like in 1877, some of the people involved in the government, some of the people in control just gave up and said, well, we did our best. Let other people figure it out. And so some of the racial issues that we deal with today and some of the societal issues that we deal with today and major differences between the North and the South maybe come out of this time period. Okay. I'm going to bounce out of this and I'm just going to go into 4th hours Google Classroom and show you guys the assignment. You're going to get this little spot, and I don't know what it looks like exactly in your things, but in mine it says Christy posted a new assignment called Reconstruction Overview. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to click on the instructions, and yours probably looks more like this, where it says Reconstruction Overview. It's due September 11th, which is Friday, due by midnight. And it says this will be the final reading guide for our unit on Reconstruction. We may have a few small quizzes or geography work to make sure you're understanding the concept that we're going in class. This reading guide will be due on Friday by midnight. If you click on that, I'm just going to click on it and bring one up. There we go. You're going to notice a couple of things about this. First of all, the directions are a little bit different this time. It says using this page and the rest of the unit. And I'll show you that in a minute. Answer the following questions. This is will due on Friday. You've got a YouTube video you can watch. It's the crash course history. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to. And there are, I believe, 6 questions that you need to answer. Make sure you're using good sentences, proper sentence starters, and things like that. Now, what I want to show you guys is that when you click on this, it's going to pull up the page where you get started. Now, you're going to use this page. You're going to read through, scan through. Oh, look, I got the first answer. Oh, look, I got the second answer. Yay, me. I'm so smart. Yay, yay, yay. Then you hit the bottom. You're like, wait, I still have like 3 or 4 questions left. What do I do now? Well, if you hit next, it's going to take you ahead. Now, notice that the banner that I'm hovering over here with my mouse pointer is the same as the top of the assignment. Okay? As long as those match up, you're in the right spot. So you read, you find your things. Next. Oh, great. Yay. You read. Yay. All right. You read. Oh, look at me. I'm so awesome. Oh, look, I found them all. But if for some reason you would click and notice that this says the Gilded Age and the picture's different, you're in the wrong chapter now. You need to go back. And that can be easily done here at the top where you can go back into chapter 35, or you can just hit back to go back. And I don't know if I actually hit it. There you go. Okay, and then there you're back. See, the banner head is the same. So, again, your job for today is to get those notes done and get started on that assignment. It doesn't have to be done by tomorrow's class. If you have any questions, I am available via chat or email for any help that you need. So please let me know if you need help. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good long weekend, and hope to see you soon.